This is Cheryl Petruk. She's from Canada. She's from the Canadian Patients Organization. What's the official title?
Canadian MPN Network.
Okay. Now, we wanted to give you a kind of a very quick overview of what this organization actually is, what the kind of the purpose of it is and everything. So without further ado, let's dive into that. Great. So as Giora has said, MPN Patient Advocate Network is one of now 4 organizations that exist underneath the umbrella of the organization known as the Leukemia Patient Advocates Foundation. What Giora didn't say was that he and Jan Geisler had a very strong vision for the future when they founded LePath, which is its kind of nickname. The red light keeps going off. Anyway, several years ago, they saw a need for an umbrella organization within which organizations like ourselves could then operate without necessarily having the overhead of creating an independent legal entity. And this has really been an amazing thing for us, and it really helped us get started much more quickly than we would have done otherwise. So alongside ourselves, there's the CML Advocates Network, which was the original one, the CLL Advocates Network, chronic something leukemia, and most recently, lymphocytic, that's right, and most recently the Acute Leukemia Advocates Network, which has recently joined the family, as it were. So that's a bit of boring administrivia about who we are. And this is a formal list of the steering committee as it exists today. Those are the names that Werner introduced us to earlier. You'll see many of us, well, you'll see all of us here over the next few days. This is a group of people who have come together who all believe in the same thing that what we're doing here over the next few days, and without whom we wouldn't be able to do any of these things. So I'm immensely grateful to the steering committee for everything that all the work that they do. I've just realised that I'm saying some of the things that you're supposed to be saying. Okay, Cheryl, why don't I hand over to you for this bit?
Sure. What I didn't rehearse.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So, what our motive today is to stand here before you and with you and discuss who we are and what we're looking to do in the next upcoming year and also years. So we'd like to share our best practices with you folks. You represent organizations that represent patients in the MPN world. We want you to tell us what you need as resources, what you would like to see us tackle as best practices, and that we would like to do and work with you on. Provide support to patient groups in underdeveloped organizations or countries. Some of us are more resourceful and have other resources already established, so we would like to help you get those organizations or your organizations better established through resources. Some of us have patient conferences that we hold yearly. If you need some of those resources, we would love to share those types of resources with you. Printed materials. That's where the learning begins and happens, is when we can share. It can be adapted to any language, any culture. It's really the same information in any country and in any world, just it needs to be adapted to your own organization and your own culture. So we're here to share that knowledge. Create an amplified voice for MPN patients. Again, we want to talk as one. MPN patients in Morocco, Canada, US, Japan, Germany, we all have the same issues that come up. So really, we need to start advocating as one organization. So it's really important for us to become global. And with that, we will be empowering, and empowerment then comes from knowledge. So if we can have the knowledge of the disease and the burdens and the illness, we can empower our patients to be better advocates for themselves when they go see their physicians. And again, be part of a growing professionalization of the patient advocacy network. We want to be seen as a very professional group and have our voice at that table with physicians and with pharma. So being part of that triad really is very important for us to be professional in our manner, professional in our organization, and professional in what we do. So really that's one of the key points. What we do not want to do is replicate the work of established groups. So if we don't want to reinvent the wheel, what we want to do is keep that wheel and that momentum going. So if there are established frameworks, if there are established resources out there, we want to take those resources and make them better so that we can utilize those in all of our organizations. And also we don't want to change the way that current patient groups have been, working really well. We don't want to change that. We want to, again, empower our patients, empower our advocates, and do things better. We want to take that to the next level and just be more effective and efficient in what we do.
Thank you, Cheryl. I put up a few flags here just to kind of replicate what you can see in front of you on the desks and everything. We are kind of getting to the point where we are the United Nations of MPN. There's a few flags missing there. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend anybody, but that's kind of all I had time to find on the internet in the time I had for this. But the main message from this is that we want to grow this. We want to grow it to the point where every nation in the world has some form of representation for MPN patients, because we know that the disease itself has no boundaries. It doesn't respect national boundaries, and there are patients suffering from MPNs literally in every corner of the globe. And until those patients are adequately represented and they're able to speak as one, then our job isn't finished. So it's very much our mission to expand the network until we can truly say that we represent MPN patients globally. Just to reinforce a point that Cheryl's just made very eloquently, we exist as an organization that attempts to put patients at the heart, at the center of a very complicated healthcare world. So that healthcare world consists of the doctors who look after us, the people who pay for those doctors, whether that's insurance companies or governmental organizations, and of course the organizations that make the therapies and develop the therapies that we are so reliant upon. So we exist within this kind of three-party world, and the role of advocacy, as we see it, is to put the patients at the center of that world. And what that means is that there will be times when we need to have challenging confrontations or conversations with each of those three parties. There are times when the medical community itself, we may feel that we're not being properly represented or looked after by the medical community, or we would like better access to therapies. That means we want to convince people to pay for those therapies. And at the same time, we need to confront the pharma industry to say, why does it need to cost so much? So these are all situations that we will find ourselves in over the coming years, where unless we are able to act as one and be a global voice for MPN patients, we will not be properly representing MPN patients in this complicated emerging world. And so that, I don't want to labor that point, but just to kind of make it clear that we are sort of positioning ourselves in that way. Conscious that we're kind of running out of time here, so breaking Giora's golden rule to start off with. There is a great opportunity tomorrow afternoon, I think it is, where we get to hear from you guys what's important to you. What should we be doing? What project should we be undertaking on MPN patients' behalf? And that's a great opportunity for you to give us your opinion of that. And then lastly, future steps. Cheryl.
Thank you. So expanding the membership and our outreach, certainly that's by the form that you'll be getting or that you have in your packages. We'd like you to tell us about your organization, what attributes you have, what skills and resources you can contribute to the global organization. Helping new countries establish MPN advocacy organizations. So if you don't have an advocacy organization in your world, and maybe you're an organization that advocates for several different types of blood cancers, what can we do to help you to establish a specific MPN advocacy organization? You'll hear tomorrow more about a patient survey that we're undertaking for underserved and unmet needs, and it will be a global survey. So we will be looking to you and your organizations to fan that information out to your patients, because it will be a patient-driven organization. And with that survey, we plan to actually write a paper and defend that survey, and you'll hear more tomorrow about it, but it's very exciting for sure. Focusing on organizing the MPN Horizons 2018, we will be looking for committee members or subcommittee members to help us organize, because it's great to have the grassroots or your feedback on what you would like to see and what topics you would like to have discussed at MPN Horizons 2018. So we will be looking for participants to work on that subcommittee. As well, we will have other subcommittee participation. We do have other plans working with some of our subordinate groups across the globe. So if there's an interest in working on a subcommittee, please let us know that. We would love to get you involved. And then just the lastly is just email me and let me know all the information.
Fantastic. I think that's pretty much us. Okay, we've done our thank yous to everybody already, so without further ado, I think we'll hand over to the first session. Thank you very much, guys.